Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about how to write a first in an essay. Let's go. Hello, I'm Ison, I'm 21, I'm studying in Scotland, Stirling, and I'm from Germany, but my parents are Turkish. That's me for you. Yeah. I cannot promise to write a first every time, but I've written firsts before, and my friend just asked me what I think about how she can improve and what she can do, and after talking to her I was like, wait a second, that's content, I can make something out of this. So I pretty much wrote down what I told her in that moment, and this is the video. So there you go. First of all, you are a vessel. Like, that's how I see it when I research. It's not only about how many papers do I need, how many papers does my professor want me to read. It's really about seeing yourself as a vessel and gathering as much information as possible. So at the end you have the feeling that you can just talk about it without even your notes, because you truly understood what it is about. And later on, when you edit, you will edit down many things that you have read, but you cannot put into the essay because it's just, let's say, a 2,000 words essay. But doing as much reading as possible and truly understanding what you're talking about is important. At the end, thinking is just a process of like taking things in and shitting things out in your way. And to be able to do that, you have to take a lot of things in, if that makes sense. Also, understand what you're reading. And sometimes I talk to my friends while I'm studying, and then I just scroll through, and in my brain I read it, but I haven't really done anything. So try to avoid that. Additionally, respect the form that you are writing in. If it's an essay, if it's Harvard referencing, if it's, I don't know, all of these academic forms that you have to fulfill, it's really important to do that. First of all, it's just a missing point if you get graded down just because you haven't been able to follow those rules. Second of all, it's just noise while you are trying to make a point, and everything that you are putting unnecessary that won't enable the professor from focusing on what you want to say is really sad, because you're trying to do something, like you're trying to say something to make a point, and when all of that noise is disturbing other people from just focusing on what you're trying to say, that's really sad. So try to avoid that. I think one of the most important points is trying to shift your perspective, because you come into the university world thinking that you're a student, which is true, but the moment you write essays, academic essays, you are an academic. And the goal is not to get a good grade. The goal is to inform people that could be out of your university as well, that are just interested in that topic. So as an academic, your responsibility is to inform people efficiently and responsibly in the best way possible. And when you're an academic, it's not about grades anymore. It's about truly doing something and understanding that this could be published outside as well, and you should be okay with that. So what I'm trying to say by that is, you are not only a student, you're also an academic. Just embrace that role, because as a student, at the end you will write a bachelor's or a master's or both, and it is important that you understand what your role you have in society, pretty much. The point is, have as many references as possible under your belt, because some of them will be bullshit, and when you are editing out what you can use and what you cannot. If you've only read like 3 papers, it will be way harder to be like, okay, I cannot use this. So try to read as much as possible to be able to cut out the things that don't serve you anymore. What also really helps me is to have a clear outline after all of that research. What I usually do is to gather as much information as possible, then put all of that information as bullet points, then have a thesis of what I want to say, and then structure my essay in the way that I want it to be. So if I have a 1500 word essay, I usually have introduction, then 3 paragraphs. For those 3 paragraphs, I write down what I want to say in those, whom I want to reference and stuff. And at the end, I have my conclusion and I write down what I want to write in the conclusion as well. And after having that outline, you can pretty much just go into a writing flow and write all of it down, because you know what you are going to say. In a 2000 word essay, I usually have like 4 paragraphs and then a conclusion. Really depends on how you want to structure it. But the most important thing is to know what you want to say, where, who you want to quote, and yeah, like, what is your main goal? It should be clear, it should be evident from the introduction and then conclusion what your main goal is, what you are saying, and that's it. And it's really important to understand your audience as well. Your audience will be usually academics or people that are interested in that, and your job as an academic is to give people information as quickly as possible as well. So many people will just read the introduction and the conclusion, meaning the conclusion and the introduction should be very evident and very clear about what you have accomplished in the text, so that people can just move on after reading your paper, if that makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, you read in the same way. Like, sometimes I only read the abstract and then the conclusion of a paper, because people are busy, and that is why your conclusion should be very obvious. And finally, something fun. Just have a ritual. Drink some tea every time you write, or drink some coffee, meet up with friends, or do it alone, but have a ritual so you can always get into the flow of writing again. And don't get distracted that much. If you have a routine of what you usually do, then it's way easier to do that. I hope these tips helped. It's, like I said, it's not that I'm a pro, but I think I have gotten some good grades, so yeah. If anyone needs help, just shoot me a message. And other than that, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.